Booking an international trip can feel overwhelming. Like there's so many steps, so many things you can mess up. Flights, passports, hotels, money. And if you do it wrong, it can get expensive fast. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to book an international trip from start to finish, the same way I do it. So you can travel confidently, save money, and actually enjoy the process. But you want to be intentional. Ask yourself, number one, what is my budget? That is so important. How much do you want to spend? Are you going by yourself? Are you going with your mother, your father? Are you bringing 5 people with you? That is so important. It also matters because, hey, a trip to Thailand looks completely different than a trip to France, or a trip to Philippines look so different than a trip to Peru. We think that international travel is created equal, and it's definitely not. Next, you need to find, what kind of experience do I want? An experience in a country like Nigeria is totally different than an experience in Bangladesh or China, even Taiwan. Those will be completely different places with completely different food, cultures, sometimes even languages. Also, ask yourself, do I want to relax, explore, meet people, or just reset? Also, think about the time of the year you want to go. January through December has so many different seasons, and there are different parts of the world that are always hot, and there's different parts of the world that are always cold. So be aware of that. Some places are beautiful, but not during certain seasons. And one of my biggest tips is, if you want to save money and avoid crowds, go during the off season. We're going to find out how to find out what an off season is, and you'll get better prices, better experiences, and honestly, a more peaceful trip. Let's get started. All right, guys. So the next thing you would want to do is to plan your itinerary. Let's talk about what you're actually doing on your trip. A mistake people make is over planning. You don't need every hour scheduled. I'm bad at this. When I went to Hawaii, me and my partner sat down and we were like, he was just like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to do this, that. When I tell you I was exhausted when I got back from Hawaii, I had a great time, but I was exhausted. I spent a week in Hawaii and every hour was scheduled. And I'll be honest, y'all, I did my itinerary through ChatGPT. So AI is your best friend when it comes to your itinerary. You can also Google itineraries online. What I like to do is pick 1 or 2 main activities per day, a few restaurants I want to try, and a couple of must-see spots. But I always leave room to explore. So between each destination, I would type in this person, well, this place and this place. And if I went to that place and it wasn't what I expected it to be, then I would go to the next place. There was a lot of places that I didn't visit in Hawaii because I just went around it. But one thing I do use is, we back on Google Maps. So let's see. Does it pull it up here? Okay. So you type on things to do. So things to do is the top attractions in the area. So they will give out all the top attractions. So right here is the Bird of Sighs, the Doge's Palace. They got Peggy Collection, and you can tell that it's a hot travel spot because of the reviews. St. Mark's Museum, the Wheel of Venice. So when you go to Google Maps, which I told y'all that it should be your bestie if you're planning any type of travel, go through there and look at the must-see spots and click on each one of them and see which one you think you'd be interested in. Some people don't like arts and museums. That's one of my favorite destinations to go through. When I go to a city, I either go to the aquarium, a botanical garden, a rose garden, or our museum. That's my thing, but museums might not be your thing. You might like aerospace, you might like to see airplanes, you might like to see the boats. So you would find Navy, you would look up like the Navy docks and stuff like that that you can find from um, this area of the world. And a lot of times you can plan your trips to where this one is next to this one is next to this one is next to this one. And don't be like me, don't overexalt yourself on your itinerary because there's so many other places to do. So besides the things to do, you can look up museums, transit, restaurants. I usually look up restaurants, and if I want to go, I give myself one or two luxury restaurants per visit. Back in the day, you could catch me at eating $100 plates and stuff like that. That's fine if that's your vibe, but for me, I don't want to come back from a trip broke and exhausted, not being able to pay expenses that I need to take care of. Because just remember, when you do come out of the country, you will end up coming back. So you don't want to bare your pocket and now you're cutting into your rent. You can't afford to pay your rent. You on the Instagram flexing, but deep down inside, you know you went over. I really stopped that. I had an era of that and I'm just over it. You guys are going to see me for who I am. Can I afford to go to the most expensive place in the world? No. And that's okay. And don't be afraid to go to the mom and pop's restaurant that's $10 or $20 and have just as much fun as sitting down at a fine dining restaurant with crystal everywhere. That's fun. And if you want to experience that, that's great too. But this website will also break it down into price. So if you want it really expensive, you can click the four money dollars. If you want it cheap, you can do the one money sign. You can look at it per rating, and you can look at it by cuisine, and you can look at it the hours of what time it closes. Okay. So like I said, guys, use this to plan your itinerary. You want to have an itinerary, whether you use ChatGPT, whether you use YouTube, you want to have an itinerary before you leave for your trip. And then also make sure you create a budget for your trip. Think about how much you want to spend on food, transportation, activities, and plan for emergencies. Because I know a lot of us, we don't want to talk about emergencies, but it is a part of it. I found this website. It's called budgetyourtrip.com. It has a couple of different locations that you guys can look up. It has Italy, but let's see what it gives. Because the goal is to enjoy your trip, not stress about money the whole time. And then don't depend on other people. If you're traveling with someone, don't depend on them to pick up the tab for you. I think that's really disrespectful. And don't travel if you don't have the money. Don't go on a girls' trip if you don't have the money. You don't want to end up being embarrassed. So a typical traveler spends 231 euros per day on a trip to Italy. This is the average daily price. I think that's on the high end because when I think about what I spend in America, if I'm paying for a hotel, that's a hotel, right? But other than that, I might go grab a drink and some food, and that might be $80. It depends, but like usually, if I'm paying for something, we're talking about 60, $80. So just be aware, 231 times however long you're staying, especially if you're staying for 7 days, that adds up. All right, guys. So next is packing. Packing is whether you either set yourself up or stress yourself out. My rule is simple: pack smart, not heavy. And trust me, this is something that I've been working very hard at more recently as trying to transition to a nomad. I am learning to pack light. Sometimes I will end up in a location and gather things, even though I know I should not be taking it with me. If you're always traveling or if you plan to travel internationally, you do not want 5 and 6 suitcases, even if you can't afford to take it. Always, this is my recommendation, always bring at least one full size, a carry on for you to take on the plane, and a smaller size that you can put under the plane or overhead type thing. It cuts down the price of everything, and it'll also help you because when you're traveling, especially if you're hopping on trains and it's just you, if it's just you definitely just need a carry on and maybe one suitcase. You do not want to be the person hauling 5 or even 3 luggages through Italy. Scammers or people who want to take advantage of you know you're not from the country, and then you're slower. So if someone decides to grab your suitcase, now you are without your luxury goods, especially if you're having a luxury designer luggage. People are going to try and see if you're smart enough to hold on to that luggage, whether it's at the airport before you even land. I've even heard stories of people getting their luggage ransacked and their jewelry end up missing, bags and purses. This happens even in 2026 when you think that TSA or the people at the airport have a lot more security, but no, people have gotten watches stolen from checked bags. Also, if you are in a situation where you're walking through a city that there might be strange people, they could possibly take advantage of you and take your luggage on a moped or even target you. So, if you're traveling backpacking, we'll talk about this. If you can, knock it down to a backpack. I know. Especially for a girl like me. I need heels, I need outfits, I need hair, makeup, bras, candy, chocolate, everything. But I realize that it's not smart. Okay, bring travel size essentials and keep anything important in your carry on. And honestly, don't overpack. If you need something, you can buy it when you get there. You can check the weather by going to timeanddate.com/weather. The weather for countries all over the world. What time it is? Is it raining? Is it pouring? Is the old man snoring, my love? So right now, Venice, Italy is 50 degrees and it's cloudy. It's raining in some parts of Italy, so maybe in some places you can wait to purchase things when you land. But the overall thing of it is, and we'll discuss this because I need help with this as well, is to pack light. When you are traveling internationally, you might have to get on the road. Imagine the people who were in Dubai and a war popped off, and now you got 3 suitcases that you got to lug through the airport. Maybe they will let you on the airport, but now you can't afford, they won't allow only but one bag. So now you got to leave things. There is an actual website of people who leave their luggage at the airport. It's so crazy. So guys, make sure you pack light and pack smart. If you've been waiting for the right time to book your international trip, this is your sign. Travel does not have to be complicated. You just need a clear system. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe for more travel content. If you have some helpful tips for international travel, please leave them down in the comments and let others know what you know about international travel. And I'll see you in the next destination.